What's going on, everybody? It's Professor Zeus, and I'm back with another video. If this is your first time on the channel, just know I greatly appreciate you for stopping by. Why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe? We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We are taking it the humble route. So, in today's video, it's kind of like a follow-up to my last video, where this is a single mom, and she's openly admitting that she doesn't know how to raise her son into a man, and she's deciding to actually let the son live with his father full time. And we're gonna react to what she has to say, and I'm gonna try to be as fair and critical as I can, and we're gonna have some. I'm obviously mixing some of my perspective from my last video. And like I said before, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and let's get into it. So in my last video, I talked about a woman who was struggling to decide whether to leave her kid with the father, as she was facing homelessness. She was, with the daughter, I believe, and her mother. So it was three women moving around trying to figure things out. And, the woman was having issues deciding whether or not to leave the daughter with her father. And, it was tough. Most women in these types of situations are against the men that they've split from, and they usually try to paint them as the villain. But with today's video, this woman, this mom, she's kind of different. She's saying, he's a good man, and I can't raise a boy into a man, but he can, and that's rare. So let's see what she has to say.
11-year-old son is going to go live with his dad full time. Now, he has been with me primarily since birth. He'll be 11, but for parts of junior high and then his high school life, he's going to go live full time with his dad. That's always been our agreement. We co-parent well, we don't miss events, we split time, you know what I mean? We do really well together. But there comes a point, I think, in a young man's life that a man needs to teach you how to be a man. I am not a man. I'm never going to be a man. I can try to understand man's role in this world, but I'm not a man. So he's going to go live with his dad. I will get him on the weekends. We will kind of reverse roles. And I think that that's the right path because, again, his father is supposed to teach him how to be a man. And his father is a good man. He's a good man. But the level of flack I get from, honestly, predominantly like other moms are like, you're just going to give up your baby? First of all, he's not a baby anymore. And I'm not giving him up. I'm just allowing his father to do what he's supposed to do, which is teach him how to be a man. And sometimes you got to get out of the way. Because I'll be honest, I baby my son. And as a mother, I feel like I should be able to do that. Why? Because he has his dad to balance that out. So I'm going to do what I need to do and get out the way so that his father can teach him how to be a man. I don't understand where the feedback comes where it's like, oh, you're abandoning him. I can't believe you give up your baby to his father. Yeah, no, I don't get it. So my 11-year-old.
So we heard what this woman said, and as you guys know, I'm a firm believer that families should try to stay together to the best of their abilities. And it's usually hard for women to, I won't even say usually, it's hard for a woman to raise a boy into a man alone, like this lady admitted. Boys need to see how their moms are being treated. They need to see how a man operates, going to work, handling life. That's the blueprint. But some people might actually look at this as an anomaly that's worth celebrating. And as you heard her say, she's getting a lot of flack from other mothers. And you have to give credit where it's due. This woman is doing something that is extremely wise and intelligent. She's putting her son's best interests first, not her ego, not her feelings. She's handing him over to his dad, a man she respects, while still staying in his life. Weekends with her, most of the time with him. And here's the kicker. She's not trashing or talking down on the father. And from what she said, they've been apart for some time. but she's still celebrating the man as a good man. That's huge. That's respect. That lack of bitterness. It's a game changer for the kid. He's not going to grow up hearing you know venom and poison about his father, which is how boys end up confused or resentful to their fathers. Instead she's letting him bump his head, figure things out, and learn manhood from a man. Some might not say it's not the ideal. I'd say stay together, live in the same house till the kids in college at least, building their own life. But some might say this is like a needle in a haystack. You know what I mean? A beautiful exception. We need to pray for more understanding like this because it's smart, it's selfless, and more women need to hear this story. But while she said a lot of women are critiquing her for making this type of decision, you know, because you would think women would cheer this, right? Some of the women were saying, how dare you give your kid to his father? You don't want what's best for him. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is how I know a lot of women may be, selfish. Too many women want to raise a boy into like a son husband, looking for companionship in their child, in their kid. And that's not fair. That boy will grow up resenting his mother, especially when she starts bad mouthing his dad out of bitterness, even if the dad's still trying to be there. We've all seen it. Women holding on to their kids, not for the child's sake, but to spite the father or, feel better about themselves. And who really suffers? The child, right? Statistics, they don't lie. Single parent homes, especially without a dad for boys, mean higher chances of jail, gang, therapy, dropping out, all sorts of unnecessary trauma. Yet some women would rather keep a child close to them than let them live life and thrive with their father. And that's not love, that's control. And the worst part about it, they drag other women into this type of ideology and thinking also, keeping them single, keeping their kids messed up, then try to leave and escape when the consequences start to hit. They say misery loves company, right? Right? Because you're going to be tied to your kid's other parent forever, right? Weddings, graduation, health insurance till they're 26. Why make it harder with bitterness? Do people think like that? Boys need their dads to see what a man should be. Girls need to know what to look for in a man. And this mom gets that. She's not perfect. No one is. She's not. I'm not. My wife's not. My parents aren't. But she's sacrificing her pride for her son. Most will not do that, right? They'd rather feel good now and let the kid pay later. Single people out here talking about, or keeping people single, keeping kids broken, then leaving when the kids, I won't even say it, but when the kids lost. We've got to heal, especially women who've been hurt. You know how people say, who hurt you? They're most of the time talking about what they're about to do to their own child. So let's celebrate this mom instead of tearing her down, and let's learn from her. So what do y'all think in the comments? Is this co-parenting win the type of model we need more of, or the opposite? We got to look at my last video about the woman who was facing homelessness with her mother and her daughter because she maybe was too proud to give the daughter to her father. It's a crazy life we live, man. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And big props to the creator of this video. I'm going to link it in the description. And if you like this video, smash the like button. Send this video to somebody who you might think can see some value in it, and subscribe. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers, y'all. I made it to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to make a video on that. How I do that in like a month, right? How I get to 1,000 subscribers in a month. I'm gonna drop that video soon. And never ever forget, it's you and I verse for a reason. I teach you, you teach me, and we both take what we taught each other and learn from each other and apply it to what's going on. That's the only way life can go on. Until next one. Peace.